Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello and welcome back to the channel where today you rejoin me at Gtechniq to take a look at the work that's been done to my Ford Focus RS Heritage Edition. Now over the last week or so, Adam has been working tirelessly on the car here at Gtechniq Works. It's been detailed, polished, it's had Crystal Serum Ultra ceramic coating applied throughout, also with EXO, which means later on we can see the hydrophobic qualities and the way that the water will bead off the paintwork. You will see what I mean. It is fairly magical. I can also give you a demonstration of a 50-50 from before the detailing and polishing to how the car looks now, and rewind back a bit to what Adam has been doing. So let's get started, head over and take a look at how good this car looks now. You may remember that last week I started bringing the Heritage RS here to Gtechniq, where Adam gave it a proper wash to decontaminate the car completely ahead of the work that's then been done, including the application of the ceramic coating. We also talked a bit about why you'd use ceramic coating versus paint protection film and some of the differences and some of the ways that they can work together. So since then, Adam has been working all around the car, and we're going to have an update in a moment on what's actually been done to it. But the reason I'm doing it is because this is a pretty special car. There are only 50 of them in total. The Heritage Edition Focus RS, one of the last of the Mark III generation of this car in total. It came with a number of upgrades, including the mount tune, upgrades to the engine bay that we're also going to see what he's been doing with. So it has 375 horsepower. It has this bright orange tribute paintwork. It's called Teeth Orange, back to the 1960s Escort Mark I that was launched in this color. And, well, I love driving it, but it hasn't done too much to date, only around 600 miles or so, but that is all now set to change. So it's important to prepare the car, to make it easy to wash, and these are characteristics that come from the ceramic coating. So it has Gtechniq's Crystal Serum Ultra, which we'll see how Adam installed. But before we do that, if I just come around here and turn on the light on my camera, have a look at these pillars. You will notice one fairly significant difference from the right side to the left side. The right has those light swirl marks from the washing of the car, where you've had small scratches coming into the paintwork. The left has now been detailed, and you can see, well, some fairly substantial differences. So that's going to be finished, but just nice to see that 50-50, to see how it looked before and how it looks now on the black, which really emphasizes the differences. So around the rest of the bodywork, it of course has Crystal Serum Ultra everywhere you look, and you can see immediately the reflections of the spotlights and how much better the surfaces are now than when the car started, when I arrived here with it. We can see a demonstration also of doing the front splitter. That's going to come up very shortly, and like I said, we will have a beading comparison on the bonnet later on. But for the time being, let's actually rewind back a touch to see how you go about installing or applying Crystal Serum Ultra itself, and catch up with Adam.
So the paintwork has now been fully machine polished and wiped down with panel wipe to ensure it's squeaky clean, ready for the ceramic coating to bond to the paintwork. And we are going to be applying our Crystal Serum Ultra, which is our professional only Gtechniq accredited coating. And this will actually bond to the surface of the paintwork to offer UV protection, gloss and some swirl resistance as well. So to do this, we have to prime the applicator pad, and what we mean by that is we apply 3 full pipettes of product so that there's no dry sections like here. So we just spread this evenly to ensure the product is into the applicator pad. Okay, and then we apply in small sections, roughly 300ml by 300ml sections, and it will be applied and buffed off straight away, so we don't leave this on the panel. We start with a circular motion just to spread the product because it's quite viscous. That means it's quite thick. So we spread it in a circular motion, and then we finish in straight lines in the direction of the panel. So on this bonnet here, we've laid it down in that direction. We then immediately take our first MF6 cloth and start removing the residue from the outer edge first into the middle. Flip this cloth. Now we just start removing and buffing off the residue. This first cloth will also lay down and spread the coating onto the paintwork. We then take our second cloth, and this is now going to remove any final smearing, any residue that we may have missed, and we now start being a little bit more careful around the edges, just to ensure an overlapping panel. So we'll just double check that there's no residue on here, and we just gently, with no pressure, buff the surface. Then take various light tools just to make sure that there's no high spots or residue on the paintwork. Balls have been washed, degreased and panel wiped, ready for protecting. So we're going to use C5 wheel armour, and this is going to help maintain the wheels, help brake dust and dirt contamination not stick to the surface. We simply put some drops of product onto the small applicator pad and work normally about 1/4 to half of the wheel at a time before buffing with 2 new microfiber cloths. This is a quartz-based ceramic coating that will bond to powder coated or painted finishes, and it's safe for matte, gloss and satin. So it's as simple as gently wiping it onto the surface, including the centre cap. And then buffing it off. There's no cure time. You can leave it for 20 to 30 seconds if need be, but it's ready to be removed straight away, and you're just removing the residue here, not the coating.
After that, the wheels have now been reinstalled back on the car. But Adam, what else has been done to it so far?
So we've done the interior. So what we've done is we've used our i1 Smart Fabric AB, which is an antibacterial fabric protection, and we've sprayed it onto the centre of the seats, the carpet and the mats.
So I'm going to bring up a demonstration right now of the results of that, because it's really pretty clever, but can you explain a bit about how it actually works?
Yeah, I mean it's a chemical that will bond to the surface of the fabric. It cures, and then it will put a protective layer on there, which is ideal for any spillages. So if you spill a drink on there, it would be very easy just to dab it dry.
Yeah, it doesn't absorb into the materials.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, and that's all around the interior. Anything else inside?
We've cleaned everything in here with our i2, which is a really good quality cleaner. And then we've put some C6 matte dash on the plastics and some L1 leather protection onto the leather.
Okay, good, good. Nice to have the interior done in the same way as the exterior too. So outside, other areas, other parts, glass?
Yeah, glass has been coated. So we've done 3 layers of our G1 Clear Vision Smart Glass onto the windscreen. We've done 2 on the rest of the glass.
Okay.
And that will chemically bond into the glass and protect it for ease of maintenance. It will help with sort of snow and ice as well.
Okay.
And the main function is safer driving, so the water again will just bead off when driving.
Okay, very nice.
On the roof, because it's got a satin wrap and a satin paint, we've actually used our C1 crystal lacquer on here.
Okay.
The reason we did this rather than the Crystal Serum Ultra is the Ultra can add some gloss, and we don't want to really add gloss to that finish.
Yeah, that makes sense. So presumably also on the door mirrors as well.
Yeah.
And the other different
so
parts.
It'll give it a nice darkening effect, but it won't add any gloss to the finish.
Okay, so as I understand it, just a couple more bits to demonstrate. Where should we start? On the splitter or around the sides?
Yeah, we'll start on the splitter, yeah. So we're just going to demonstrate the C4, which is a plastic protection product. We're just going to demonstrate how it will darken the plastic on the front. So we've already applied our C4 trim restorer to this section and the front area here with the grills. And we're just going to demonstrate doing a 50-50, which basically we'll just put some tape line down here just to show the difference in the darkening effect of the product.
Okay.
So we just grab some tape.
The best thing about doing this is seeing the direct results, the way you can see how it looked before and how it's going to look after.
This is C4 here, just give the product a quick shake. And we just use a small applicator which is supplied and a few drops of product onto there, and just gently glide it across the surface. Straight away you can see the darkening effect. Some of this residue we buff off so it will settle down slightly. And again, what this will do is it will crystallise over the trim and put the protection down. So it's ideal for brand new vehicles, brand new trim, but it can also revive older trims. So if your plastic's faded, it has the ability to bring that back. It bonds within seconds, so you don't need to leave it on there too long. And then just with a new microfiber, just going to gently spread and also remove any residue. So there's no force, we're not trying to scrub it off, we are just gently buffing off. Just remove the tape.
Okay, yeah, there's quite a dramatic difference in the before and the after in terms of the colouring. And of course then doing the other side to even everything out. Another area to show you is what's been done inside the engine bay. So I'm just going to come through here and pull the lever down in the passenger footwell to open that up so we can come around, because in here you get some very nice additional parts from the factory with the mount tune upgrades. So if I just lift it up, you have, for example, the intake here, mount tune intake with the orange piping. Basically all of this has been completely cleaned and prepared as well, and is looking very, very nice. We just close that back down for the moment. It's time now for Adam to crack on with the B-pillar here, which is rather complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a solid black. They tend to be soft plastic.
Okay.
The paint's quite soft on those, so we tend to have to do a 3-stage polish. So we're going to use a microfiber pad, then a fine polishing pad, and then a really finishing one to finish off to get the most clarity and gloss out of the pillar. So we're just priming the pad, which means we're just putting some polish on here before we start polishing.
Dab it all into place. And of course this is all done with it all masked up to make sure that the pad doesn't run over any other parts of trim. The first stage is done, and actually just to turn on the torch right now, that is already quite substantially improved. Still some.
So there's just the holograms.
Yeah, I was just about to say the holograms that I could spot as well. So, stage 2.
Yep.
The results of stage 2 looking very, very good now. So all that's left is stage 3, which is just a finishing compound, finishing pad to even more refine it. A final wipe down, finish it off. After the final part then, just carefully removing the masking tape around the outside. Of course it's had a wipe and an inspection as well. That will come off, and then we are left with a very perfect looking B-pillar. So what I'm going to do is just quickly close the door so that you can see this completely with my light as well. Magic. Thank you very much. It is time to take the car outside. So everything, by the way, even the exhaust tips have been prepared. So you've got the nice cold start there as it burbles away. Then you get the musical intake note. The car will roll outside back to the wash bay, which is where the process actually began. In the first visit here, that sounds really good, in their purpose-built bay right here. This is the detailing centre, basically to train authorised installers of Gtechniq products, and that's the purpose of Gtechniq Works. So the Heritage RS will come in here, and this is where we are now going to be able to see the wonderful results of the beading. Now what we're going to do is spray some water on here, and you're going to see how this works, but what I'll do right now is rewind back to overlay a clip of what this looked like when we first sprayed water over the bonnet with the jet washer, so that you can see exactly how the water basically didn't really do anything special. It stayed in place, gently ran off, but didn't look particularly tidy. Now what we're going to see though is what happens to the car with the ceramic coating. Have a look at this. The way the water just runs straight off the surface, the beading effect. You can see the way it leaves the paint as if it's the smoothest possible surface, and it all just runs away. That is genuinely magic to witness. The way that you can see even now the drops just sliding their way off, the smoothest paintwork that you could possibly have thanks to the ceramic coating, the Crystal Serum Ultra and the EXO, which is what adds the hydrophobic aspects of that, which make it possible for the water. And that's why it's so easy then to maintain and clean the car, because, well, you can literally see how nothing will really stick to it. It is so silky smooth, and all just even now watching the droplets as they slide away. That is magic. We've brought the car back inside, so while Adam is finishing it off downstairs, I have popped upstairs. Check this out, there's like a Top Gear style seating area. They can host events and things up here. Just through there is the lab where the products are developed, but we won't show you all of that. Over this side though are all of the Gtechniq products, so you can see all of the different things that we've been working on and using on my car over the last couple of videos while we've been filming here, through to the Crystal Serum Ultra. But the whole range of Gtechniq's product line up, and I use some of these products actually in some of my cars. So you've got the quick detailer, which I've used. I can't spot it right at the second. Yes, here we go. Just to give cars a wipe down when they're on show at different events, that kind of thing. And obviously you have all of the right mitts, pads, microfiber cloths, depending what it is that you need for what's going on which part of the car that you're washing. But quite a wide range, all of which you can find with a link down below if you're interested to find out more of this, and to also check out Gtechniq social media pages as well. And I've also just noticed there is half of an Aston Martin engine lurking down on the floor, which is very random but also rather cool. So this is quite a nice place to hang out, and then in a few minutes I will pop back downstairs and see the final result. It's all finished then, so Adam is going to take the car back outside, but it is looking so good right now. This paintwork has come out beautifully, and we get the musical notes back too. But I'm now going to head home because there is another little surprise for the day as well, or a nice thing to do. We're going to have the Heritage RS alongside the Ford GT in the garage. Of course, with their near-on matching number plates, now that the GT is also back from its paint protection film, so it'll be time for me to head over and take this onwards for the rest of the journey. Thank you very much, Adam. I appreciate all of this, an awful lot.
No problem, thank you.
It's looking incredible. It's come out so well. Yes, everything, all the wheels, lots of work everywhere. The whole thing is perfect. The almost crying shame is that I'm now going to be taking the car out on the roads and damaging some of your work.
But at least it's protected now. So.
At least it's protected. Okay. So thanks again.
No problem.
Hopefully see you soon.
Cool, thank you.
This is where it really feels wrong. The car is so pristine. I want it to be straight into a museum and just kept that way. But we can always do more work again. And the big benefit is how much easier it will be now to keep the car clean, because you can just wash it, and as you've seen, the water runs straight off. So it is still winter. It is getting dark fairly early in the day, and I do now have a fairly long stretch to get back home. But I'm very much looking forward to having this car back with the Ford GT to take, I don't know, two really significant cars in terms of tributes to Ford's history, with the Heritage RS paying tribute back to the 60s Escort, and also the Ford GT, the new car itself, being a tribute car back to the GT40 and its successors at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. So hopefully it's going to be a journey without too much drama and traffic on the way. Either way, this car's a fun car to be driving, so I'm not going to be complaining. Just take it really steady over the stones and gravel that we've got on the road here before heading on out towards the motorway to get this journey rolling. That's actually the other thing. The car is still being run in. I've got to remember that. We've still got to get it to 1,000 miles before it's fully run in and ready and raring to go. But that's not going to take me all that much longer now. In fact, I think by the time I've driven this over, so I'm going away now for a short bit of time, away by plane. And then when I do come back, it will then be time to take this car over to Germany to start the European adventures, and to really, I think, take it to try and find some snow, because the colour of this, popping against the contrast of a snowy background, is going to look phenomenal. Anywho, out onto the motorways. As I said, it's about, I think, 75 miles or so to get myself back home. A long old slog, and then I'll see you again when we're in the garage.
And I'm back from Gtechniq then. Like I said, here in the garage at home with these two cars side by side. And although they've kind of been in storage together, and I also drove the Heritage RS down to Goodwood for the collection day of the GT, I think this is genuinely the first time they have ever been right beside one another. But what's quite fun is that they're both very special products from Ford Performance, but there is not all that much that is really similar about them. In fact, I don't think there are many companies that could make performance cars that are more different than we have between these two. The similarities basically extend to the blue oval Ford logo on the front bonnet and some of the switchgear on the inside, and not a whole lot else. So you might notice the GT is not exactly parked in the middle of its space, but given it's a left-hand drive car, I parked it in a way that the door could open in full without banging against the wall, knowing that there wasn't going to be a car here until I parked the Heritage RS in later on. But these two, they are very special. I'm very lucky to have these two as part of the collection and share the videos of them with you. But it's a big thanks to Gtechniq for the work that's been done to the Heritage RS. Of course, I'm sad that I've had to drive it home in some wet and gloomy weather, but one of the big benefits of doing a ceramic coating is that it actually makes it even easier to clean. It will wash dirt away better because of having such a smooth surface. So the GT, of course, has its full body paint protection film from Topaz with some ceramic coating on top of that. So you get that extra benefit even by having it on paint protection film if you had the whole car, or if, let's say, you just had the front end and some of the vulnerable parts done. But these two are going to have some big adventures this year. It still feels completely unreal that they're both here with their almost matching number plates, the tribute to 1966 when Ford won Le Mans with the GT40, the tribute to 1968, the Heritage RS that links back to the Escort Mark I. So again, like I said earlier, you'll find all of the details about Gtechniq and the work that we've been doing in the description down below. And a big thanks to Adam as well for his work, his time to carry all of that out, and the team that's been involved. That is it for this time though. Thank you ever so much as always for watching, guys, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.